Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaraachaarya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. त्रैलोक्यनाथ हरिमीड्यमुदार सत्वं शक्तेस्तनूजतनयं परमेष्ठिकल्पं जीमूतमुक्तविमलाम्बरचारुवर्णं वासिष्ठमुग्रतपसं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. अपहाय न कश्चिदहङ्करणं व्यवहारमुपैति कदाचिदपि उपपन्नतराहि मतेस्तु ततो व्यवहारपथं प्रतिकारणथा. So here Totakaacharya is trying to show how this vyavahara is happening. There cannot be any vyavahara or transactions without the I thought, without having the I sense, you can say. The sense of I as a doer, as an enjoyer has to be there. Only then any possibility of any transaction in this objective world is possible. And why are we even discussing all this? Because what Totakaacharya wants to actually teach us is the Mahavakya. But in the Mahavakya, it is an equation. And we have to analyze both Tatpada and Tvampada. Tvampada in the Tattvamasi refers to you, the individual. So when we analyze what is the nature of this individual, we have to do something called Atma Anatma Vichara. That is what he is doing actually now. The analysis of what is self and not self. First one has to be very clear about what is the self and what is not self. This also can be called Drig Drishya Viveka. There is even a text by that name by Vidya Swami. So the analysis here is very simple actually. It is nothing great. All we say is whatever you see is not you. Or whatever you know or whatever you cognize is not you. You are the eternal subject. And whatever is an object of knowledge for you is not you. It is a very simple thing. Anybody can understand this. But in spite of that understanding, to be established in that understanding is not very easy, because we are having a natural tendency to identify with the body, mind, sense complex. Understand this. This natural tendency is born with you, and it is not just in this lifetime. If we accept the Shastra, it is there beginningless, in fact, correct? It is there forever across multiple lifetimes. So this any natural tendency like that will not just go away with one insight. Understand that. So you have to be patient with your own knowledge and how much you can live in that knowledge. It may not happen straight away. Any insight has to be repeated. It has to be repeated till you overcome whatever tendencies which are against that knowledge, but which are still there, which are natural to all the beings. So this is something like swimming against the current only. It is not an easy thing. You have to be alert all the time, because whenever you identify with your body, mind, sense complex, at least you have to identify and do Vyavahara. Everybody has to do. Even a guru has to teach as an individual only. Understand that. But even when you are doing the Vyavahara, the Atma, Anatma, Viveka has to be clear, correct? So you have an identity. It should be an identity like the actor has an identity with the character in a drama, correct? So even though you have to identify with the character and act out the part of that character, you always know that you are the actor. You are not the beggar. So if you are having a beggar character in the drama, by acting as a beggar, you are still becoming a millionaire. So with that knowledge only you are acting, correct? So like that, this individuality is really a beggar. It's not, it's a limited individuality, correct? You are the limitless conscious being becoming a beggar as an individual because you are taking up the identity of a limited being. But still you should always have this knowledge. That is the idea. So this Atma, Anatma, Viveka only, Totakaacharya is starting the whole text with that. And in that first he showed that anything which is there, all the external objects are all known objects. They are all not you. There is no big confusion there. The confusion actually starts with the body, mind, sense complex. And further, there is a confusion about the I sense or I thought also. Whether this I thought is the I, or the I thought also is just a thought in the mind. That's what he is analyzing now. And in this analysis, what Totakaacharya is saying is I thought also is a thought in the mind only. It's not really you. Why? Because the I thought also comes and goes, correct? It's a very simple thing. I thought is there during waking and sleeping, during waking and dreaming. But there is no I thought in sleep. So if you do this Anvaya Vyatireka, you can see that I thought also is just a thought. So it is a quality of the mind only. When the mind is resolved, there is no I thought also. But when the mind is awake, when the subject-object duality is there, then we have the I thought and this thought also. Both I and this come together, in fact, correct? That is the subject-object duality. So the status of being a subject also is not intrinsic to you. It is not a part of your nature. Subjecthood also is contingent upon the cognition of an object. If there is no object to be cognized, you are not a subject. You are you only. In fact, we cannot even give any word. Bhashyakara in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya says even the word I, Atma, self, whatever we are using to refer to oneself, those are also only relative, correct? Those you don't need any word to refer to yourself, correct? Because you don't need any word to even know yourself. You are a self-revealing, self-existent, conscious being who need not be referred by any word also. So understand this. So that is why you are not the meaning of any one word. You can never be the meaning of any one word, because as soon as you become the meaning of only one word, you become a limited entity. That's why the Upanishad says that yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So you are not the meaning of any one word. You cannot be objectified by the mind also. But you are the one in whose presence the words become meaningful, in whose presence the mind becomes active, or mind can even think. And whatever is happening in the mind is evident to you as a conscious being. That is you. And that I is not just an I thought. That I is the invariable in each and every cognition. Understand that? So here, basically, Totakaacharya, we saw up to this 20th verse in the last class. So he says that giving up this I thought, nobody can do any Vyavahara. So the I thought is the basis for any Vyavahara. Okay, and it is tenable only when the I thought is there. So it is the Karana for the Vyavahara, he says. Then continuing. So, okay, I thought is there, this thought is there. Why cannot the I thought still be a guna of the Chaitanya? Like this, there is a doubt is raised. Okay. And in fact, Atma is looked upon as a gunavan by many people. So Atma has to have qualities. Only the Upanishad is teaching Atma is Nirguna. So this point is a very important thing to understand. That's why he is actually spending a lot of time here. Another 10 verses or so also will be in this on the same subject only, in fact. So here, next verse we'll see. Chiti Shakti Guna Kimahang Karanam Kimu Buddhi Gunotha Bhaved Ubhayoho Iti Chintyamidam Manasanalasaih Upapatti Bhiratmahitam Yatibhihi. So, Manasa Analasaihi Yatibihi. Yatibihi means again, Totakaacharya is talking about only sannyasis. Yati means Yatna Shilaha Yati we can take in a general sense, means one who is putting in effort. Yati means Yatna Shilaha, one who is prone to put a lot of effort. But normally it is referring to only sannyasis. Sannyasis are called Yati. There is a Yati Dharma Shastra and all that. Even for how the sannyasi should lead a life, for that also there is a Shastra. So Yati Bihi, sannyasis means basically Vedanta was studied only by sannyasis. So that's why the saying is Sanyasya Shravanam Kuryat. So give up everything and then do Vedanta Shravanam. That's why if you want to study Vedanta, it's good that we are all attending online class, weekly class and all that. That is something at least you are keeping in touch with the Vedanta. But you have to do Gurukula Vasa. Because if you go to the Gurukula and stay there, means it shows your commitment. You are now giving up everything else and then studying Vedanta. Means that is Sanyasya Shravanam really. So whether you are in a sannyasa ashrama or not, you should have a certain commitment and you should be ready to put in effort for Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Then you can be an Yati. That's what Yatna Shilaha. And Analasaihi, alas or Alasyam means laziness, you can say, or procrastination and all that. That is also there. It's a tendency, correct? We want to put off everything till the last minute. We don't feel like getting up in the morning. All these things are there for everybody. But again, there you have to use your willpower. So Analasaihi means those who are diligent, you can say, those who are alert, those who are not lazy. For such people, what they should do? Totakaacharya says, Manasa Chintyam Idam. With your mind, you have to think about this. Okay? Manasa Chintyam Idam. Analasaihi. And also Upapatti Bihi with logic. Okay? Logically, with your mind, without any laziness, being alert, that is. And you have to put in this effort to think about this. What is this? He says, Titi Shakti Gunaha Kim Ahankaranam Kimu Buddhi Gunaha. Whether this Ahankara, this I thought, the sense of I, is it the quality of Chaitanya, Shiti Shakti, or is it the quality of the Antakarana, correct, of the Buddhi, Manas? Or is it the quality of both? Ata bhaved ubayoho. So you have to think about this, he is saying. Whether it is the quality of the Chaitanya, whether it is the quality of the Buddhi, or whether it is the quality of both. Whether something can be quality of both also, we have to look in. So you have to do this analysis. Basically, this is also Atma Anatma Viveka only, but you have to do that diligently as a Vedantin, as a student of Vedanta. Okay, when you do that, what is the conclusion you have to arrive at? Or you will arrive at? You have to arrive at, if you think properly, you can only arrive at one conclusion. Okay. So, that he is continuing now. We'll see the next verse. What is that? Upalabhyam ahankaranam na bhavet purushasya guno yedi tarhi bhavet gunirupamatho vayavam guninaha na vihaya gunah prithagasti yataha. So, upalabhyam ahankaranam na purushasya gunaha bhavet. So, na bhavet purushasya gunaha. So, upalabhyam means what? That which is evident to you, that which is cognized by you. Whatever is cognized as an object of knowledge or an object of your cognition. So, the ahankara also is an object of cognition because you cognize it during waking and dream only. In deep sleep, it is not there. So, it is upalabhyam. It is available to you as an object of your knowledge, correct? So, ahankaranam upalabhyam purushasya gunaha na bhavet. It cannot be the quality. Here, Purusha is again Chaitanya. Shuddha Chaitanyam is the word Purusha. Totakaacharya uses all over in the sense of the Shuddha Chaitanya. So, Purushasya gunaha na bhavet. It cannot be the guna of Purusha. Why? Yadi tarhi bhavet. If it is the guna of the Atma Chaitanya, let us say, what will happen? So now, in fact, he is trying to use, he is trying to show the other way, in the sense that we are saying by just being an object of cognition itself, it cannot be the quality of I, because I am always the eternal subject, let us say. But what if it is the guna? Why can it not be the guna of Atma? Somebody can still ask. So he says, okay, let us say it is the guna of Atma. Then what will happen? Tarhi kim bhavet. What will happen? Yadi, if it is so, then what? Means, he says, guni rupam atho avayavam guninaha na vihaya gunaha prithag asti yataha. So he says, you are saying that ahankara is known. It's a known object. But still, if it is the guna of the Atma, who is the cognizer, knower, then it is not possible. Why it is not possible? Because he says, Guni Rupam Atho Avayavam, Guninaha Avayavam. Okay. So the guna Vihaya Gunaha na Pritagasti. Yataha. Yataha means Yasmat, because okay, it cannot be the guna of this Atma, the Ahankara, because why? Because the guna itself is a guni rupa. It has to be a quality is not separate from the substance. Understand that. It has to be the essence of the substance only. For example, let us say white cloth. Means the white cloth, the whiteness in the white cloth is not sitting somewhere separately from the cloth itself, correct? It is there in the cloth only, or it is, or you can nitpick that. What is that? You can say, no, the whiteness is the whiteness of the yarn. Okay. The yarns make up the cloth, correct? So yarns, the cloth yarn or avayava, you can say. Guninaha avayava. They are all parts which make up the guni. Guni is the one who has the quality. Okay. That which has the quality is the guni. The quality itself is guna. So we are talking about the guni and the guna. What is the relationship between them? In fact, finally, if you look at all these things, you cannot establish any relationship between the guni and guna. This analysis also we do many times in other texts. Also, we will do it even in like Panchadashi and so many other texts. Bhashyakara also talks about it in the Bhashya. What can be the relationship between the quality and a substance? Okay. Because the Nayayika, who are the main intellectuals in our tradition, you can say, correct? Because they they are the ones who set the narrative or the discourse itself. They give you all the terminologies. They define the jargon. So they say that there is something called Samavaya Sambandha. Samavaya means in English we are trying to translate it in many ways, but you can say it is intrinsic relationship. There is a relationship which is in which or in something inheres, inherence. So the qualities inhere in the substance, that inherence itself is the relationship. Samavaya Sambandha. They talk about something like that, Samavaya. They in fact have that as a category itself. When they initially categorize, they talk about Padartha. So, but there is nothing called Samavaya. Where is this Samavaya? Means it cannot be, there is no Vaidika Pramana also for that. Veda is not a Pramana. Then they have to, Nayayikas generally go by observation. Okay, they are like modern scientists in that manner. Whatever is observed, based on that they go. Although they did talk about Anu and all that, which are not really observable. But certain things they infer also. Whatever is not observable, they say that it is all established by inference. So, they talk about the Samavaya Sambandha, which itself we don't accept as Vedantin. In fact, we say that you cannot establish any relationship between the quality and the substance. In fact, finally, all relationships are only Adhyasika. Adhyasika means what? It's all only superimposition. Because somebody, the Nayayika says, pot has a guna called potness. See, then they end up in problem, all sorts of problem. Why I'll tell you. Pot has potness means, when you say pot, how did you know it is pot? For that only it should have had potness, correct? So the pot which is having potness, is it pot or a non-pot? If we ask that question, then they go into all sorts of tangles. Then if you cannot say it is pot also. If it is already pot, then it should already have a potness. Then it goes into some kind of infinite regress. Or if you say non-pot, how can non-pot have potness? Like this, there is an argument which the Vedantin we have with the Nayayika. And finally we say that there is no Samavaya Sambandha and all that which you are talking about. It's all only your own kalpita, your own imagination. So any relationship is only a superimposition. It's all Adhyasika Sambandha only, we can say finally. Means there is no real Sambandha in fact. But anyway, here let us say, for the sake of argument, we can go along with them, correct? So we are saying the guna itself, you cannot cognize it separately from the substance, correct? Whenever, even in objective knowledge, if you say white cloth, there is no separate cognition of whiteness and clothness and all that, correct? Everything you are cognizing together. So the quality is either guni rupa. It is the nature of the substance itself which you are cognizing. Or it is the nature, it is the quality inheres in the parts of the substance. Okay. So avayavam, guninaha avayavam or gunirupam vihaya, without being the part of the, or without inhering in the substance itself or parts of the substance. Gunaha pritag Na asti. The quality does not exist by itself separately. Okay, therefore what? Okay, the quality separately does not exist. Means what Totakaacharya is trying to drive here is, if the quality does not exist separately, it cannot be cognized by the guni. That's what he wants to say. A guna has to exist separately from the guni, for the guni to cognize its own guna. But that does not happen. But ahankara we are cognizing separately from us. Ahankara is a known. Therefore, ahankara is not a guna of the Atma Chaitanya, is what is the implication of whatever he has said here. But that itself he is going to explicitly say in the next verse. Because here he has just said, okay, what he is saying is, this ahankarana is upalabhyam, means it is known, it is cognized. Therefore, it cannot be the quality of the cognizer, the Atma. But if you say it is a quality, then what is your problem? It cannot be a quality, but if it is a quality, any quality does not exist other than the substance itself or parts of the substance. Okay. Therefore, what is the implication? Therefore, it cannot be cognized by the substance itself. That is the idea here. That itself he expands now. He says, Na guno gunini sthitavan gunina vishayi kriyate na cha tasya gunaihi na hi desha krita na cha vastu krita guninosti gunasya bhidatu yataha. So whatever I said, only in fact he says it in so many words here. It's very simple. You can easily understand this. Na gunaha gunini sthitavan gunina vishayi kriyate. So here a quality which is in the guni, in the substance. Gunini sthitavan means it is residing, it is inhering in a guni, the qualified substance. Gunina vishayi kriyate. By the guni itself, it cannot be made into an object of cognition. Because it inheres. For example, our own eyes cannot see its own color, correct? Whether you have blue eyes, green eyes, black eyes, brown eyes. In fact, most of our eyes are all some kind of a dark brown, I think. Okay. Some people do have blue, green and all that also, depending on where you come from in the world. But majority of the people have some kind of a dark brown eyes. But you can see the color of others' eyes, but the eyes themselves cannot see its own color, because the eyes, whatever the quality of the eye inheres in the eye, correct? It cannot be objectified by it. That is the idea here. So he is saying that explicitly here, a quality which is inhering in a substance cannot be objectified by that substance itself. Okay. Okay, what about one quality of the substance objectifying another quality of the same substance? That also is not possible, he is saying. Nacha tasya gunaihi. So, because some people say Atma itself is having parts and all that, correct? Why can't one part of the Atma objectify another part of the Atma? Like one quality of the substance, why cannot it objectify another quality of the substance? Means even that is not possible, he says. Why? Because he gives his own logic in the next line. He says, Nahi desha krita nacha vastu krita guninaha asti gunasya bhida tu yataha. Tu yataha, because what? Desha krita bhida. Okay, bhida means a separation or a division. Means by space the gunas and the guni are not separated. There is no separation spatially. Okay. Because wherever the guni is there, there only the guna is there, correct? In our cognition also, when I say white cloth, wherever whiteness is there, cloth also is there only, correct? Clothness is there. We are not cognizing whiteness here, clothness somewhere else, 2 feet away. It's not like that. So there is no spatial separation, division between the guna and the guni. What about between the guna also? Okay, or sorry, what about vastukrita bheda? Between the guni and the gunas, are they separate substances or objects? Means even that is not true. Object wise also, all of them are in one object only, correct? When I say a white cloth, it is a white cloth, that's all. It is one cognition, one object of cognition. Object wise also, it is not separate. So both spatially and object wise, and of course you are cognizing both of them at the same time also. Time wise also there is no separation, correct? Of course, today it is a white cloth, tomorrow it can be a brown cloth because you went and played Holi or something, or you did a mud bath, let us say. So that's not what we are talking about. Time wise also we have to add here, I think. Basically what he is saying is, in one cognition, there is no space-time vastu difference between the guna and the guni. Is that clear? There is only one cognition. And therefore what? The guni cannot objectify the guna itself. That's what we are arriving at. So guni cannot objectify the guna, nor the gunas themselves objectify each other. Therefore, again we have to link it back to the original statement. Upalabhyam ahankaranam na bhavet purushasya gunaha. Okay. So the ahankara, which is cognized, which is an object of cognition, cannot be the guna of the Atma. Okay. So we have to connect it back here always. This statement is important for us now. In fact, further he continues the same argument only. Na parasparamagni gunognigato vishayatvam upaiti kadachidapi nahi vanhirapi swagunam swagatam vishayi kurute swagunena bhuvi. Okay, so now I gave the example of white cloth, but actually Totakaacharya himself is giving you this example of Agni, of fire. Okay, so now he is trying to explain whatever he said in the previous verse by giving you an analogy. So Bhuvi, in this world, okay, what is he saying? In this world, what? Na parasparam agni gunaha agni gataha vishayatvam upaiti kadachitapi. So the gunas of Agni, qualities of fire. What are all the qualities of fire? You can say prakashatvam, brightness, and ushnam, okay, heat. Heat and light are qualities of fire. In fact, there its very nature, in fact, it is there. And in that, let us say, can the heat objectify the light, or light objectify the heat? Means they cannot be the vishaya of each other. He says, parasparam agni gataha agni gunaha vishayatvam kadachitapi na upaiti. So it never becomes an object of cognition for each other. One guna cannot cognize the other guna. In fact, in one way, in this analogy, both are jada, in fact. So by being, as soon as something becomes an object of cognition itself, it is jada. It doesn't have it cannot have the capability to know anything. But even assuming that they cannot become an object of cognition for each other, because they are there in this, there is no difference or separation in them. Wherever there is light, heat also is there only, correct? So there is no separation. The previous logic, what he get, Desha Krita, Vastu Krita, there is no Bhida, there is no Veda or separation. So one guna of a guni cannot become the object of another guna ever. Kadachitapi Vishayatvam na upaiti. It cannot become a Vishaya. And that same thing he explains. He says, also, okay, between the gunas he said, now previously he said even the guni cannot objectify the guna. For that also he says, nahi vanhirapi swagunam swagatam vishayi kurute swagunena. Okay, the guna does not objectify. What about the guni? Can the guni objectify one guna through another guna? Like this also there is a question. He says that also is not possible. In this world we know that. So Vanhi, the Agni itself, in fact here they have put it as Vanhi. It is not Va, it should be Va. But in some places in India there is Vabai or Abedaha is there. But still in Sanskritam it is Vanhi. Vanhi is Agni. Okay, the another thing is mostly in Sanskritam whatever we write we pronounce that, correct? But this is one place where that rule doesn't apply. Understand that. We have to write Vahni, but the pronunciation is Vanhi. These are all some places where in Sanskritam also you don't just say whatever is written. Although 99% of the time we just read whatever is written, which is good, correct? Unlike French and all that, even English is a problem for Indians. Why? Because Go is go, Do is do. It doesn't. So we have to learn the spelling and the pronunciation and the relationship also, which is a pain in learning a language, correct? If it is simply that you read whatever is written, it is simpler to learn in one way. That way, Indian languages are actually easier to learn because we just read whatever is written, which does not apply to Tamil in some cases, because Tamil alphabet itself is not complete. But it is good enough in certain cases. Anyway, we don't want to go into all this linguistic analysis. We'll just stick to the Atma Anatma Viveka here. So, nahi vanhirapi swagunam swagatam vishayi kurute swagunena. So, the vanhi or the Agni also does not objectify one guna, one of its own guna through another of its own guna, let us say. So, it cannot objectify the brightness with the heat or the heat with the brightness, etc. This is not possible. One guna cannot objectify another guna. The guni also cannot objectify its own gunas. That's not seen in the world. Like this, he is giving an analogy for you. Then somebody can raise a point. Now, this is all again, there is an argument by authority also. Many people use this, correct? Argument by authority. So, if you cannot argue logically, then you say, no, no, this person himself has said this. Okay. Then how can you say, say like this? When, see, Kanada and these Nayayikas, they say, how do they define Atma? If you read Tarka Sangraha, for example, which is an entry book, correct? They say something like Buddhi, Sukha, Dukkha, Icha, Dvesha, Prayatna, Dharma, Dharma, Gunaha, Atma, Vishay, Atma, Gunaha, they say. These are all. Buddhi, Sukha, Dukkha, Icha, Dvesha, Prayatna, Dharma, Adharma. All these things are Atma Guna. Like this it is said in Nyaya text. And Kanada is the Rishi. So if Kanada himself has said this, then how can you say this Atma is Nirguna? Kanada may have said that, but Shruti is saying Nirguna anyway. So Shruti trumps over Kanada, but still, why did Kanada say this? How can you go against Kanada? In fact, this kind of authority argument is given by yoga people also. They say Patanjali himself has said this. How can you say this? But Bhashyakara doesn't accept. In fact, this Patanjali argument comes in Vedanika Bhashya also. So there one person is arguing, why should you have Atma Jnanam? Just to have Chitta Vritti Virodha. Chitta Vritti Nirodha alone is moksha. You don't require any Jnanam. Because Patanjali has said that. So Bhashyakara doesn't accept. In fact, he says Chitta Vritti Nirodha itself is not possible without Atma Jnanam. He goes the other way around. Even for Chitta Vritti Nirodha to happen completely, you should have Atma Jnanam. Like this he talks there. But anyway, coming back here. So let us read this verse. So it's interesting. Kana bhugyam achiklipadatma gunam gunapugam anityamanatma gunam anayaiva dishasa nirakriyatam nahi nityamanitya gunena guni. So kana bhugyam, kana bhug. Achiklipadatma gunam. So Kanabhugyam achiklipadatma gunam gunapugam anityam anatma gunam anayaiva dishasa nirakriyata. See, Kanada, as I told, talks about all the sukha dukkhadi as atma guna. In fact, that's how most people also take it, correct? That's why you think that you are in sorrow, you are sad, you are happy, etc. You are also again all the mind qualities of mind, like I am knowledgeable, I am stupid, idiot. All these things are also, it is there in the Vyavahara. So Kanada has gone along with that. We have to take. So to point out the Atma, Kanada has done this like this. Some argument is being given here. So Kanada has gone along with the perception of the people, and then he is pointing out like that. In that manner only we have to take this, because these are all really only, so Kanabhugyam, whatever Kanada has listed out as all the Atma Gunas, okay, it is all his Klipad Atma Gunam, means whatever he has inferred, or it is his own imagination we have to take, okay. Whatever is listed, whether he has inferred or he has imagined as the Atma Guna, the Guna Pugam, they are all actually Anitya. Okay, so they are all not there always, correct? They are all transient. So even if you say Sukha, you are not always happy. Or Dukkha also comes and goes. That is one good thing, at least they come and go, correct? They are not there always. So all the gunas which are listed there, they are all Anitya. And how can this Nitya Atma have Anitya Guna? It is not possible. So Nityam Anitya Gunena Guni cannot be there, correct? Therefore, this Kanada has said that, but he is only listed it as Atma Guna, all these Anatma Gunas only, which are Anitya really. Those Anatma, Anitya Gunas only he has shown as Atma Guna. Therefore, in this manner only we have to Nirakriyatam, he says. You cannot take everything which is there in the other Shastras. So this is a larger Samanvaya, we can say. Okay, reconciliation. So we reconcile with all the darshanas, the Vedantis. Even in Brahma Sutra Bhashya also, Bhashyakara talks about this. Tattu Samanvayat Sutra is there. And later on also, in the second chapter and all that, what is he saying is, Even though we discard certain things from other darshanas, which are against whatever is revealed by the Shruti. The Shruti is saying Atma is Nirguna. Kanada is saying Atma is having all these qualities, Sukha Dukkhadi. But we know that even though he says they are qualities, the qualities themselves are transient. They are not there always. So they cannot be really the qualities of the Nitya Atma. Therefore, you have to, in this manner, you have to discard whatever he has said. But whatever they have said which are relevant, which are not opposing the Shruti, we will take it. That is how we do the reconciliation. And it is relevant also because the Nayayikas are the ones who give us all the terminology and also their epistemology also. What is a valid inference? Because they talk about something called Hetva Bhasa. See, whenever we do inference, there should be a Hetu for that, correct? What is the basis on which you are doing an inference? And if that basis itself is correct or wrong, they do a lot of analysis in that. So if the basis for inference itself is wrong, then it is called Hetu Abhasa. Hetu is Abhasa is there, means some distortion or something is not correct there. So what are all the grounds in which you can establish that the Hetu is not proper? All this they have done a lot of analysis. So those things we take. Okay. So how to logically analyze? We can take from the Nayayika. Similarly, the Yoga Shastra also is talking about how to have a certain mental disposition, correct? How to quieten your mind. All the sadhana, the yoga sadhana itself we take, but certain conclusions of the yoga darshana we discard, which are all against the teachings of the Upanishad. So that's how we integrate all the valid teachings of different darshanas, we integrate. We have no problem with that. So we don't have to throw the baby with the bath water and all that, something like that, correct? So bath water alone we throw. We keep the baby. So he says in this manner, Anaya Disha sa Nirakriyatam, he says. So even though Kanada may have said all that, okay, but you discard them. Because Nahi Nityam Anitya Gunena Guni. So because the Guni, in this case Atma is Nitya, cannot be there with Anitya Gunas. Okay, so with this logic, he says we'll discard, even though Kanada may have given that huge list, correct? Yeah, the Nayayikas give all this Buddhi, Sukha, Dukkha, Icha, Dvesha, Prayatna, Dharma, Dharma, Gunaha. All these are all Atma Guna, they say. So that we cannot really accept. So we'll discard that. In fact, some more verses, the same topic is continuing. I think up to 33 or something. We'll see that. We'll continue that next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.